If modern food systems disappeared tomorrow, most people would panic within days. Shelves would empty, transport would fail, and hunger would spread faster than anyone expects. Medieval people built food systems assuming failure was normal. Their survival depended on it. Medieval food systems were not only more resilient than modern ones, they were often healthier, more sustainable, and better adapted to human biology. What looks primitive from a distance was actually a carefully balanced system refined over centuries of survival. And when modern systems fail, which they increasingly do, medieval food logic begins to look shockingly intelligent. The reason this matters is simple. Medieval people built food systems for permanence. Modern systems are built for speed, profit, and shelf life. That single difference explains why medieval diets supported generations, while modern diets quietly undermine health. Medieval food systems were built to endure disruption. Crops failed, winters were harsh, and storage could go wrong. Yet communities survived. Modern systems assume constant flow. Take away fuel, transport, or processing, and collapse comes within days. This contrast defines the story. One system survives stress, the other doesn't. Food was designed for survival, not convenience. In medieval times, food was not entertainment, it was survival. Every farming method, preservation technique, and dietary habit existed because failure meant famine. This pressure forced efficiency and wisdom. Crops were chosen not for appearance or yield alone, but for reliability. Medieval farmers favored grains, legumes, and vegetables that could survive harsh winters, poor soil, and unpredictable weather. These foods were calorie-dense, nutritionally stable, and easy to store. Modern food systems chase convenience. Crops are selected for rapid growth, visual perfection, and transport durability rather than nutrition. Flavor and mineral content are secondary concerns. Medieval systems did the opposite. They prioritized nourishment because bodies had to function without supplements, hospitals, or industrial medicine. When you rely on food alone to survive winter, you learn quickly what actually works. Local production prevented systemic collapse. Medieval food systems were deeply local. Villages produced most of what they consumed. Grain was milled nearby. Animals were raised close to home. Vegetables came from communal fields or household gardens. This meant that when one area struggled, another might still function. There was no single point of failure. Modern food systems are centralized and fragile. A disruption in fuel, transport, or processing can empty supermarket shelves within days. Medieval systems moved slower, but they were resilient. Food knowledge lived inside communities, not corporations. Everyone understood planting seasons, preservation methods, and emergency substitutions. This decentralized intelligence made the system harder to break. Fermentation was a nutritional superpower. One of the most misunderstood elements of medieval food culture is fermentation. Medieval people fermented grains, vegetables, and dairy not as a trend, but as a necessity. Bread was often sourdough by default. Vegetables were preserved through lactofermentation. Dairy became cheese and yogurt rather than spoiling. Fermentation transformed food. It broke down anti-nutrients, increased mineral absorption, and preserved calories for months. Modern food systems largely abandoned fermentation in favor of chemical preservatives and refrigeration. The result is food that looks stable, but is nutritionally hollow. Medieval people unknowingly engineered their gut health through daily fermented foods. Modern diets actively damage it. Seasonal eating kept bodies aligned with nature. Medieval diets changed with the seasons because they had to. Winter meant stored grains, dried legumes, preserved meats, and fermented vegetables. Summer brought fresh greens, fruits, and dairy. This seasonal rhythm prevented overconsumption and metabolic overload. Modern diets ignore seasons entirely. The body receives the same sugar-heavy foods year-round, confusing hormonal cycles designed to adapt to scarcity and abundance. Medieval people ate fruit when it grew, not 12 months a year. Their bodies rested when food was limited and feasted when it was plentiful. This natural metabolic cycling protected long-term health without anyone understanding the science behind it. Bread was built to sustain. Medieval bread was not empty calories. It was a survival food. Made from stone-ground flour, often whole grain, and fermented slowly, medieval bread retained minerals, fiber, and protein modern bread lacks. Long fermentation neutralized compounds that block nutrient absorption. Modern bread is fast, fluffy, and nutritionally weak. Industrial yeast shortens fermentation to hours instead of days. Flour is stripped of nutrients and artificially enriched afterward. Medieval bread fed laborers who worked sunup to sundown without supplements or energy drinks. That alone should raise questions about what we consider progress. Preservation techniques. Respected food integrity. Without refrigeration, medieval people mastered preservation methods that worked with food rather than against it. Drying, smoking, salting, and fermenting preserved nutrients while preventing spoilage. These techniques slowed decay naturally and enhanced flavor. Modern preservation relies on freezing, chemical additives, and sterile packaging. Food lasts longer, but its biological value declines. Medieval preservation methods extended shelf life without disconnecting food from its natural structure. The result was food that remained alive, digestible, and nourishing. Animal farming followed biological reality. Medieval animals lived slower lives. Chickens laid fewer eggs, cows produced less milk, but the food was richer. Animals grazed on diverse plants rather than monoculture feed. This diversity translated into healthier fats, higher micronutrients, and better flavor. Modern animal farming prioritizes volume. Animals are pushed beyond natural limits through feed manipulation and confinement. Medieval systems accepted biological limits instead of fighting them. Productivity was lower, but sustainability was higher. Animals lived within ecosystems rather than factories. Waste was structurally impossible. Medieval food systems generated almost no waste. Scraps fed animals, bones became broth, stale bread thickened soups. Nothing edible was discarded because replacement required labor and time. Modern systems normalize waste because food is cheap and replaceable. Medieval systems treated food as valuable because it was. This mindset enforced efficiency and respect. Waste was not a moral issue. It was a survival risk. Knowledge was passed through. Generations' medieval food knowledge was inherited, not outsourced. Children learned planning cycles, storage methods, and cooking techniques from an early age. This created continuity. Skills did not disappear when a company failed. Modern systems separate people from food knowledge. Skills are replaced by products. When systems fail, people panic because the knowledge to adapt is gone. Medieval systems endured because wisdom lived in people, not infrastructure. Modern food is abundant but fragile. Each principle, local knowledge, fermentation, seasonal limits, reinforce the system's resilience. Medieval systems lacked abundance, but possessed stability. Food production scaled with land, labor, and season. It could shrink without breaking. Modern systems cannot. Health was maintained through diet alone. Medieval people did not have access to supplements, fortified foods, or modern medicine. Diet carried the burden of health. This forced diets to be complete. Mineral-rich grains, fermented foods, seasonal vegetables, and slow-cooked meals delivered what the body needed. Modern systems compensate for nutritional gaps with pills and powders. Medieval systems prevented those gaps from forming. Modern food feels advanced because it is fast, cheap, and constant. Medieval food feels backward because it was slow, local, and seasonal. But effectiveness is not about speed. It is about sustainability. Medieval food systems worked because they respected biology, ecology, and human limits. Modern systems work until they do not. When they fail, people rediscover techniques medieval communities never abandoned. Understanding medieval food systems is not nostalgia. It is preparation. In a world facing supply disruptions, soil depletion, and health crises, medieval logic offers solutions modern technology cannot replace. Modern food systems may dazzle with variety, convenience, and global access. But these advantages mask a deeper vulnerability. Industrial agriculture relies on monocultures, synthetic inputs, and global logistics, all fragile foundations that crumble under stress. Climate change, pandemics, and geopolitical disruptions expose these weaknesses. By contrast, medieval systems thrived because they embraced diversity, redundancy, and community knowledge. People understood that the health of the land, the animals, and the community were interconnected. This holistic approach ensured resilience even in years of poor harvest. Modern innovation often replaces lived experience with machinery. But wisdom accumulated over generations cannot be replicated with technology alone. The past was not ignorant. It was optimized for survival under pressure. Medieval food systems didn't fail. We replaced them.